Club head speed in golf. One of the hottest topics really all the time in the game of golf is how to swing the club faster, how to hit the ball further. It doesn't just stop at recreational players, it is also for the professional players as well. When we think of hitting the ball further, we think of different ways to swing the club and different fitness routines, and if it actually matters if you hit the ball X amount of yards. But I always have a question when it comes to club head speed, and it's not really, how fast is fast enough, but rather how slow is fast enough. I don't actually mean should professional golfers swing slower. What I'm actually asking is, how fast do you need to swing to be the very bottom of very competitive professional golf, specifically on the PGA Tour? So that's kind of what our video is going to be today, guys. Welcome to the channel. This is RJK Golf. If you're new, we'd be happy to have you subscribe and like this video. My name is Riley Kegel. I'm a professional golfer, and I take deep dives into topics in golf, course reviews, and professional golf. So let's get right into it. So if you're a fan of professional golf at all, you are probably familiar with players like Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, Cameron Champ, guys that hit the ball an absolute mile off the tee. I have some of Brooks Koepka's TrackMan numbers here. I'm going to throw them up on the screen here for a second while I talk about them. One of the things that you will notice that is absurd is 122 mile an hour club head speed. The guy absolutely knows how to swing the club very, very fast, which in turn allows him to have a -1 attack angle, so he hits down on his drive a little bit, and he can still hit the ball 313 yards in the air. Guys, Brooks Koepka has won 4 majors in the last 3 years, I believe it is. We know that the guy can hit the ball far enough, and he's got the complete game, right? So it's not just the distance, but the distance helps a lot. So like I said in the beginning though, I want to take a look into what is the baseline to be competitive on the PGA Tour, but like really competitive, like winning golf tournaments competitive. And recently in Hawaii, we had a winner in Australia's Cameron Smith. Now Cam Smith, I've met him before very briefly in Ohio a couple of years ago at the WGC Bridgestone. He is a really nice guy. He's very grounded. Recently with the struggles in Australia, he's been very helpful and given money. Like, he's just a really good guy, right? But he's not a big guy, and he's definitely not known for power. He's more of an accuracy player. Well, he won in Hawaii. I'm going to throw his numbers up here now with 112 mile an hour club head speed. So that means he is swinging the club 10 miles an hour slower than Brooks Koepka. And as you can see on the screen, he hits up on it 1 degree. So he's hitting up on the golf ball with his driver, which means that he is going to get a little bit more distance per mile per hour, if that makes sense. If you hit up on the ball, you might be a little less accurate. You're probably going to hit a draw, and you're going to hit it a little further in the air. What you see here, 112 mile an hour club head speed, 283 yard carry, just over 300 yards of total distance. So guys, first of all, I think that is really important to know, just because we don't have to be swinging the club 122 miles an hour like Brooks Koepka. 112 miles an hour with Cam Smith, very fast, but very doable for a lot of fit people, right? This is not for the beginner of golf. This is for someone who is experienced and trying to get their club head speed up. So I think 112 mile an hour club head speed is a really good, I guess, stepping stone, right? Like that is going to be your minimum. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a look at my club head speed, right? I'm obviously not on the PGA Tour. I'm not a long hitter by any stretch of the imagination. All we're looking for is the club head speed, and we're going to compare it to Cam Smith. And if I have some catching up to do, I'm going to introduce you guys into a little bit of a 5-week workout program that I'm going to do, and we're going to do some experiments to see if we can get my club head speed up to PGA Tour level without changing my swing to do it. So let's see what we can do. All right, so I hit a group of about 8 to 10 drives there. Now, this is not a TrackMan, so I'm not really taking the carry numbers into consideration when I'm doing this test, because this hypothesis is just for the club head speed, right? So we now have a baseline, guys, right? Brooks Koepka, if you want to be a big hitter, you got to be 122 or up. But if you want to be successful on the PGA Tour, I think we've determined the minimum you can have is 112 with Cameron Smith, the average around 115, 116. So guys, my club head speed is only 108 miles an hour, 108. Now it is the off season, is a little cold, so you could say maybe during the summer when I'm playing every day, all day long, because the weather is beautiful and you have 12 hours of sunlight, it might be 109 or 110, but let's, you know, it's 108 miles an hour right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do weight training at least once a day, and I'm also going to do super speed training, the super speed sticks. I'm going to do that at least once a day in addition to the weight training. And we're going to see, without changing my swing, obviously my coach Mike and I, we work on my swing, but without making any baseline changes just based off of how can I swing the club faster. You know, if I make a swing change, it's going to be, you know, to make the swing better, not just for the club head speed. Let's see how many miles an hour I can gain in 4 weeks before I leave for my Q school. How many miles an hour can I gain without changing my swing? Can I get to 112, which is the baseline for a PGA Tour player? Obviously, there's players that swing faster and aren't out there, and there's guys that are slower that are on the tour. But I think 112 is a great goal to set. We're gonna have 4 weeks to get 4 miles an hour faster. So 1 mile an hour a week, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. Does club head speed matter? What is too slow to compete? Really, I mean, is 112 fast enough to, in your opinion, to sustain a career on the PGA Tour with a modern game? Or is 122 just a little obnoxious for some people because you can have a great career and win golf tournaments below that? Let me know your thoughts below on club head speed, and I will update you guys in 4 weeks on how our experiment goes. Thank you once again. This is RJK Golf. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon. And we have an awesome video coming for you next week talking about Q School. Let's get into it.